Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I do have a quick message to share with you all. As you can see on the screen, this is my Etsy shop where I am selling a whole bunch of paintings and a few prints. Um, Once they're gone, they're gone. If you do decide you want to support me, then please check it out. It would really help me a lot, and if you decide that you cannot help me, just viewing the video, leaving a like, and subscribing is more than enough. Now, onto the video. As you can see, this is another sketchbook tour. This one I actually finished very fast, which is not normal for me. As if you watched my first sketchbook tour, you would know that that one took me a couple years to finish. But yeah, anyways, let's get to the first page. The first page is just me saying hi. That's a random character that I made from imagination, and those are Eidolons from Genshin Impact. I thought they were cute, so I tried to do them. But yeah, the goals that I have for this sketchbook, if you see on the right corner, well no, the left corner, my goal for this sketchbook was to just be as creative and colorful as possible, and to also utilize products that I don't use that much. And as you can see, the first official piece of art was this Corpse Bride spread. I created that from a scene in the movie where Victor was sitting in a coffin holding a branch. And yeah, on this page though, I did use watercolor and color pencil. On Emily, I mixed the two. I've never used color pencil like that before, so that kind of surprised me when it was blending like that. As you can see on Victor's clothes, it looks very scratchy. That's how I normally use color pencil, so that was kind of cool to try out. On this page, I did like a candy inspired thing. I used Ohuhu markers to do the Mike and Ike's Ohuhu water-based markers. Yeah. And on the sugar pool one, I came up with that while scrolling on Pinterest looking for something to turn into like a Candyland thing. That's what I came up with. YouTube Shorts, I like really love the short that I made on the Nothing's New part. I used a lot of watercolor, and I thought it would be creative to kind of like repetition to exaggerate the Nothing's New. And then on the right, I did portraits, but like using watercolor and kind of like layering different colors to try to like just play around with color, because I don't normally play around with color. If you've seen the last sketchbook tour, you would see that it's a lot of graphite, not really much color. Here, and once again, I'm playing around with color. I use Pinterest a lot for this entire sketchbook, so just know that. But I seen somebody do like eyes, and I decided I want to try it too. And I use gouache on these pages to play around with color and layering. Those two are my favorites, and the purple girl and the red girl on the other page are my favorites. I really liked how those turned out. This really surprised me, especially the purple man with the green highlights. I thought that was not gonna look too hot. And then I decided I wanted to draw like a girl on a swing with like some dresses, like wearing a white dress. But I specifically wanted to do a plus size girl because you don't really see that often. So I really love how the dress turned out. As you can see, like that surprised me. I wasn't expecting it for it to look like that. But the rest though, I didn't really like that much. This was also gouache as well. It did not. I feel like I could have did better than that, which you will see later on. But for this page, I did the Adam painting where where it's like God and Adam doing a finger. I decided to do that here, but like live and then dead, the skeleton. But on the live part, the eyeball and the lips turned out really good. This is also gouache. I really surprised myself, and the hand as well. I thought I ruined the hand, but it ended up looking really good. And after trying out the skeletal hand, I decided why not try like a skeletal head. That first green head though, the proportions was way off, so I decided to redraw it again. And I did like a side profile and a portrait profile, and then yeah, it was really detailed. These were inspired by the song Stolen Dance by Milky Chance, where I wanted to draw people dancing and then sitting in the sunset. And once again, I surprised myself because the couple's supposed to be dancing in like a really dimly lit room where the light is like just above them. I think I got the lighting wrong. But on the sunset one, the shirts and the sky is like very vibrant, but everything else around them is like very drab and monotone, kind of like washed out looking. You know, just to highlight the people and the sky. This is supposed to be a Mother Nature inspired painting. Oh, the last two were also gouache. I think this was gouache as well. But yeah, I did like the vines coming up her face. I made her hair kind of look like shrubbery. I guess the blue spirals was like water. And then like a branch coming out of her left eye. No, her right eye. I especially like how the lips turned out and how the flowers turned out on this piece. And yeah, the white eyeballs for gray clouds. This is a Cartoon Network character spread. We got Steven Universe, We Bare Bears, the Powerpuff Girls, That's Chowder, the Fosters, Home for Imaginary Friends, Clarence, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Teen Titans, the Amazing World Gumball, Flapjack, Adventure Time, and Regular Show. These were all my favorite cartoon shows growing up as a kid, and I was feeling nostalgic, so I decided why not create like a poster thing, like how I did with some of my favorite Pokemon in the last sketchbook tour. And then I decided that's not all, so I did a Nickelodeon spread where I did SpongeBob, I did Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, Fanboy and Chum Chum, and Inspector Gadget. Not sure when Inspector Gadget became a part of Nickelodeon, but when I looked it up, it was. So yeah, I drew it. So yeah, this is the Nickelodeon one, and then we did Disney. For the Disney one, we did Gravity Falls. That's one of my biggest favorites. We did Fish Hooks, Phineas and Ferb, and Kim Possible. I bet y'all knew that just by seeing Shigo on the side. I saw a video where the Gravity Falls art style was being hated on, and I'm not sure why that's a thing. That's really weird. And I remember people saying that Gravity Falls was like not a good cartoon to watch because it's like Illuminati and all of that, and I was just like, bro, it's a cartoon, relax, it's not that serious. But yeah, doing these spreads of my favorite cartoons is really good. I might do some of like my favorite movies or whatnot later, I don't know. But yeah, I also plan to do like another Pokemon one because the Pokemon painting or the Pokemon drawing in my first sketchbook tour, that's not all of my favorite ones. Those are just the ones I could fit in these are the designs that came up in my trash book, which is like my sketchbook for unpolished ideas, and these drawings kept coming out when I was drawing characters, and these are like all original. And I decided to do like the real sketchbooky vibe where it's like you fill up all the page with like random doodles and whatnot. And these are what I came up on. I did do 2 videos where I was drawing these sketchbooks. If you want to, well, not drawing these sketchbooks, but drawing these pages if you want to watch those too. Yeah. And then I continued on the left page from the last 2 pages. I continued with the Ohuhu markers. And then I branched out with watercolor on the next page. I think these are watercolor. If not, these probably are gouache. I can't remember. No, it says watercolor. I really like how the burn edge on that top part looks better than the one around the eyeball. But yeah, I think I kind of rushed that page and the page wasn't looking too hot. But then I tried again here, and I think this is watercolor as well. As you can see, the portrait part I did for that is probably my best watercolor portrait ever. And you see how I came back to the nature, and I tried again this time. It's a lot better than before. Yeah. But I did a short showcasing that my best watercolor portrait was that Asian guy, but I did it again. This is so much better. I don't like how that book turned out, and then I just added like a word there. And I did the same thing again with some underwater lily action. That's supposed to be waves. That's like a colorful mountain. That candelabra thingy, I don't know what that is, but it's like vintage and old. And I wanted to try out all the details that were in it. It kind of looks cool. I did another portrait, and yeah, these were kind of like some of the sketchbook spreads that I was seeing that I was inspired by on Pinterest, and I decided that I wanted to try doing it too. And they turned out really good. I was wanting to draw like crows or like ravens for a while, so I finally decided to give it a try here. And instead of just doing like regular black, I underlaid like some other colors. That flower turned out really good. And then I did clouds too, and I saved them by using the micron pens. These are all watercolor, by the way. I didn't like how that flower turned out, but yeah, I loved how this looked, how that turned out. I thought I ruined it, but I didn't. This page though, as you can see, that girl, I love how she turned out. I was not too skeptical on how that was gonna end up turning out, but it turned out really good. I love how that turned out. And then how the Pepsi can turned out too. I crushed my own Pepsi cans because I was wanting to draw them, and I tried to look up photos, but like all of them were like taken, and they all kind of look the same, so I crushed my own to get like a more unique shape. Loved how that turned out. This is all watercolor as well. I messed that up because there's supposed to be a T there, but I added it. We tried urban or like cityscape vibes instead of just doing nature all the time. That's a rose. And yeah, I love how this spread turned out. One of my favorites. This is also once again inspired by a song called Say Geronimo by Shepherd, and it's just basically all these waterfalls scenes. I like that one the most. You see the little crack in the water that's like underwater. The way the watercolor just really worked for that. I was so worried that that was not going to work because normally I use like acrylic. I didn't really like how the tree part and stuff came out. It was okay, but I feel like it could have been better. And yeah, I got better at doing the rocks and stuff. The rocks were they actually look better. That sheetrock on that one, I don't really know. It looks just like that on the picture that I used. It looks like that, but like it kind of looks weird to me. I don't know. But yeah, I really love this page. Did not know I could do that with watercolor. Oh yeah, and then they have How to Train Your Dragon free on YouTube right now, so I was watching it and I realized I never drew a dragon. So my first time I drew Toothless, the Night Fury. And you know, in the scene where they have like the book of all the details they know about the dragons and stuff, I put it there, but more accurate to Toothless and not the way that they describe the dragons in the movie. But yeah, we love Toothless, and this is where I became kind of like art block hit. I didn't really know what to do, so I drew turtles because it was kind of like one of the only things that kind of like stood out to me while I was looking on Pinterest for what else I could draw. And yeah, decided to draw turtles because like the pattern on their shells were really intriguing. But then I was like, I have to add a pop of color. I can't just leave it blank. So I used Ohuhu water based markers on both these pages. And then I drew like portraits. I did the same thing for the girl with the afro. But then I had decided to color in the other girl with a water-based markers, and it kind of looked cool. So and then I decided to carry that on to the next page. I did a quick sketch of some more like outfits, and I was gonna color it all the way in, but the color was like way too opaque to do that. And then I did another room sketch because recently I had renovations done, so everything kind of got jumbled around again. So another big change. So I did a sketch of it all. Just looked. That shelf on the top is really not. Um, I don't like how that looks. Anyways, and then I went again to see, like, I looked up marker art on Pinterest because I was like, I don't really know what to do with markers. I wonder if like some other cool artists have like used markers, and like how do they use it? How, like, what's the best that markers can do? But then I found another person. I can't remember their thing, but they did that water ripple pattern thingy with like wash. So I decided to redo it with markers. And then that is a picture that I took of my sky when it was hitting sunset. That's supposed to be trees, but it didn't really turn out well. I drew a band-aid just to take up space. On the other page though, I used Cali Art's alcohol-based markers, and I decided to just go crazy with the color, and I wanted to draw a candle and a portrait at the same time, but then I was like, why not combine it and just add like the little wax melt areas, and I came up with that. I was so surprised when I finished this because I did not expect for this to like come out so well. Because anytime I try to like paint with these, like paint something like this with like acrylic or something, it never turns out this well, ever. And the freckles were actually supposed to be like a darker red for more blush, but it kind of looked weird, so it turned into freckles. But yeah, it just ended up really good. And then I started adding in like paper for the because of the but I decided to redo the ripple thing again because I thought it was so good. And yeah, and I did the bathroom my bathroom towels has faces in them. That's because one of the tiles kind of like resemble a face, and I decided why not draw it. And I tried to use like the values because like the tile is supposed to be like this fake kind of like stone texture thing, and I tried to copy the values of the light and dark grays with the markers, and that's what I ended up getting. But yeah, I thought it would be a cool idea to do because I just recognized the shape, and I was like, that kind of looks like a face or whatever. And then I like kind of added the markers to kind of like look like it's dripping down. On this page though, it's like an eyeball with like a hand pulling the bottom eyelid part down, and I added like all the extra shapes and whatnot around it just for decoration to add more color to the space because I didn't want it to look too boring. And those are also the colors that I used in the piece. On this too, I wanted to draw like fire, like coming out the side of a head, and that's what I came up with. I like the opposing colors because, you know, fire is like red and all of that, and the girl is like blue. And then the text is, where is your mind at? Obviously, because like half her head is on fire, literally. That's the color scheme that I used. That's also the Cali Arts alcohol markers that I used. And then also, once again, surprised that it turned out so well because I wasn't expecting it to work. This is hands kind of like pulling away at the skin, and it's like exposing the back, and that's how I came up with the I decided to put like the words "scratch my back" and "I'll scratch yours" on there. And then I did a face where the hands are kind of like opening the face up, and I put an eyeball in there. I also found these color schemes on Pinterest because I couldn't really decide like what colors should I use to match up, and I like how they turned out. I really like that blue and orange, like orange red color scheme. Looks really good. One thing to note as well is that like I'm not really used to using like very saturated colors like these, especially the Cali Art alcohol based markers. Like they really pop, and I'm not really used to that. I'm used to like very monotone colors. And I think that page though with the eyeball and the head got to be one of my favorite pages in this entire sketchbook because it just looks really good. And I did the same thing here. You know, it's like a hand grabbing at the face that's in like it's like coming up through the fingers and whatnot. So that's what that is. That is a sketch from my last sketchbook tour, and I decided to draw it again here, but actually add color to it this time. And that's what I came up with. Once again, I used another color palette from Pinterest, but I really liked how this turned out. Especially that electric blue color. That electric blue color just kind of like pops out. It really pops out really well. Yeah. And that quote too. That quote is from Van Gogh. Apparently, I'm not really sure, but it's supposed to be from Van Gogh. The quote, "That is how I look at it. To continue, that is what is necessary." And I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like I don't know. I felt like that quote just belonged next to this picture of that drawing that I did. It's pretty good. I'm not sure why we're lingering on this for an extended period of time. We could have been flipped the page by now. But yeah, this is another sketch that I did. I'm not sure where that water came from because it absolutely ruined the alcohol-based marker. Not the alcohol-based marker, but the water-based Ohuhu markers. It ruined it. But that's another face from the last sketch that I did, and then that face over like on the top part of it that's a new one. I was on Pinterest again, and I saw this like eyeball wall thingy, and I decided to do it again. And these are lyrics from Oklahoma by Jack Stauber. So yeah, I just felt like it was very fitting for that eyeball wall. Yeah, we could have been flipped by now. And this is another drawing inspired by another song called "Break Even" by The Script. And I saw another art piece on Pinterest, and it was a guy sitting, but it was like pieces of himself was like falling off of himself. So I was like, why don't I draw somebody like falling to pieces? And you see like the pieces falling off of the person, and I kind of ruined it because I think the torso is like way too long. The torso is like way too long, where the arms is like too short. So I didn't get those proportions right, but it's fine. And then that bottom part, I added that in because the page was very empty without it, and I decided to put it in to kind of like take up space because it looked really awkward. It was too bland, too colorless, and so I added that in. We can flip the page now. Please. Thank you. And this is the last page. I just did like a nice little doodle, and I think I achieved my goal. I forgot to put an S because it was more than one goal. And this is the last page of the sketchbook. And I do think I achieved my goal because I did a lot of drawings that used a lot of color and a lot of creativity. And I tried out a lot of art materials that I don't normally use. And that concludes the sketchbook tour. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget that if you really do want to support me, you can check out my Etsy shop. If not, you can just leave a like, a comment. You can even subscribe if you really enjoyed the sketchbook tour. If not, Thanks for watching this far, and see you later.